Hi, friends. It's Kate with your Fearless Word of the Day. Today, we are going to be in Philippians 2, verses 6 and 7. So let's dive right in. It says this, "Who, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant and being made in human likeness." You know, Philippians 2, verse 6 and 7, it's completely about Jesus, and it's about his humility, but it's also about so much more. Paul wants the church and us to understand that Jesus was in very nature God. That means that Jesus had all the power, all the ability, all the authorities, all the privileges of being God. And even though he had all of that, he didn't use it for his own advantage. He didn't use it to get ahead in life. He didn't use it to get his own way. He didn't use it, his power, his authority, his abilities for personal gain, to hoard things to himself or to use it against people. Instead of getting his way, the way chose another way. And the path that he chose was one where he came and he took on human form, which means he was completely vulnerable. He took the path of humility and servanthood. Because he was human, that means that Jesus completely experienced some of the things that we experience. Pain, hunger. Can you imagine that? Aches and pains and hunger, but also need and want. Jesus could have had anything. He had full power and authority. He could have gotten himself anything, but he chose a different path. Why? Simply because of God and because of you, because of love. You know, Deuteronomy 5 says this. It says, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength." And boy, did Jesus ever do that. He loved God and he wanted to do God's will. He wanted to do it God's way. And even though he could have done it his way, he didn't. He chose God's way, and he took it a step further. You know, Bob Goff says that Jesus loved God, he loved others, and he did something about it. And I love that. Jesus loved us so much that he gave up his life for us. He surrendered it all for us. And then he gives us the ability to live by his example, one of serving, of caring, of being humble. So what does that mean for us? It means that we have the ability to be like Jesus. It means that we get to love God with all of our heart, with all of our soul, and with all of our strength. And we get to love our neighbors as ourselves. And that means that we get to love others as Jesus loved others. And that means that we get to serve like Jesus did. That means that in this day when there's this pandemic going on, that means we can step out and be a servant and not get our own way or try getting ahead. That means that we're in a grocery store, instead of taking 2 loaves of bread, maybe we're going to take one and we're going to leave one on the shelves for someone else. It means instead of overbuying products, we're only going to buy what we need. Or when we do buy extra, we're going to share that with our neighbors or with our friends who are going without. It means that we get to send cards to people who are lonely. It means that we get to use Zoom calls and Facebook and social media to check on someone who might need a word of encouragement. It means that we get to love God, we get to love others, and we get to do something about it. Because Jesus was our example. He took on the form of being a human and he served. And man, we can use our power and all of our abilities to serve just like him. Well, friends, this is Kate with your Fearless Word of the Day. I hope that you are blessed by it. Step out and be like Jesus. Bye.